All right, let's talk about Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. It's kind of funny what Prescott was able to do late in the fourth quarter to nearly bring the Cowboys back almost meant that the winning quarterback didn't get the attention that he deserved. Jalen Hurts was amazing in this football game, building that potential MVP case as the Eagles continue to have the best record in football, staying at 8-1. Let's start off with a play like this. A big play. 4th down and 3 right here. And they're going to look towards Dallas Goedert on the outside. Definitely a guy who doesn't get enough credit, which is crazy because they went to the Super Bowl last year, and I still feel like he's underrated. One-on-one matchup. Let's see how he does here. Watch as Hurts is going to take the snap. He looks over towards Goddard. He fires towards Goddard. And there's not a huge window here, right? This is not one of those situations where someone's just getting wide open down the field. This is a tough throw for Hurts to make. And as you see, that's exactly what Hurts does, and they're able to pick up a decent gain and get inside the 15-yard line on that one. A good gain, really. And on a 4th down and 3, just gaining 3 yards feels like an amazing gain. Again, gutsy play call, but Sirianni always really smart with those 4th down decision-making stuff, and really just a good throw from Hurts. Some of these throws he puts on is really incredible, and I do feel like when teams are playing man, and he just says, okay, this is where I have to give my receiver a chance, I feel like he never misses. I feel like his hit rate is just 1,000 on those situations. It's amazing. It really is. Also, I want to talk about a running play, and this might be a weird thing to do when I'm talking about Jalen Hurts himself, but part of Jalen Hurts' value is that he can hand the football off, and it is easier for the running back than if Tom Brady did it. And here's what I mean. So it's going to be a run to the offense's right. I've circled a Dallas player in yellow. That's the guy I want you to watch, as he is unblocked at the line. Okay, can't block everybody, sure, but you can get an extra player out of position with a running quarterback. Watch as Jalen Hurts is going to hand the football off, and you see that player that I had circled is running straight towards Hurts. And also, a little nifty, nice move here at the end by Hurts to, I feel like when he saw a defender right near him, make it very clear, hey, right now, I do not have the football. Early on, you don't make it that clear. Right now, look at my hand up. I handed the football off, right? Make sure you don't get hit there. So now Gainwell on the outside, and that offensive line, that offensive line doesn't need help. They can, block everyone regardless of if you get a good situation. But, if you put them in a situation where all they have to do is go out and make their blocks, yeah, that's how you get touchdowns. So, simple stuff from Jalen Hurts, but it's the value of Jalen Hurts' rushing ability that helps set that up, and the offensive line's awesome. Again, some of it is just simple stuff, but the simple stuff is really important. It's going to be a 3rd down and 9 here, and the Eagles are trailing at this point in the game, middle of the way through the second quarter. I guess a third of the way through the second quarter. It's going to be zone coverage that Dallas is in, and it's going to be Devonta Smith's route that's going to get over the middle. Watch as Hurts is going to take the snap. He looks until and sort of waits until Smith is able to get into a position where, the route is, the gap is as open as it can possibly be right here. So there is a window now to make this throw. And as you see, again, right on the money there from Hurts. But it wasn't the most difficult throw, but it was really well timed. And that's kind of part of it, right? I think people sometimes look at just the window to make the throw and say, oh, well, that wasn't that hard. But part of why it wasn't hard was because Hurts threw it at the exact right time, which is something he just does really well for Philadelphia. Let's talk about this one, another one, really a huge play in this game. This kind of gave Philadelphia that big lead that they were able to hold on to at the end, but got them up multiple scores to begin with. It's going to be a man coverage play, Smith one-on-one on the outside, which this is just the conundrum that Philadelphia puts you in, right? Because they run the ball so well, you feel like you have to put more resources on over the middle. You can't have 2 safeties deep, but if you don't, well, now someone's going to be one-on-one on the outside without a safety shading over. The safety on this play going to be closer towards A.J. Brown, who's on the other side of the field. So Jalen Hurts takes the snap, kind of very simply says, okay, well, that's an easy decision. Let me throw it up to Smith, who is one-on-one on the outside. As of right now, it's not bad coverage. It isn't. DaRon Bland, I think, is doing a pretty good job here. But watch this throw and watch this catch. As the old expression goes, a great throw and great catch can always beat great coverage, and you saw a great throw and great catch on that play. Incredible stuff there from Philadelphia to be able to pull that off. And also heading over here, so it's going to be a 2nd down and 10. Just again, another little simple thing. I like to talk about, in many ways, the simple things the Eagles offense can do. Because when you can just get these free sort of explosive plays, that's what allows this offense to work. Sure, that last play when you have Jalen Hurts throwing a dime deep down the field, that is awesome. It is. It's awesome that he can do that, but you don't want him to have to do that every play, right? Sometimes you want just simple stuff like this, where Hurts is going to run a play action and move up towards the top of the screen. You have Dallas Goedert, who's going to be in motion also towards the top of the screen. And watch how when it begins, it works. I mean, Dallas has to respect the run, right? Gets him a little bit out of position. Dallas Goedert now has a step. So when I said Dallas has to respect the run, obviously I meant the Cowboys, not the tight end. And as you see, Hurts is going to flip the ball to Goedert. They're able to pick up a big completion there. Goedert did get banged up on that play. But, again, kind of just goes to show the way that this scheme can work and kind of how there's so many different threats on this team. You can pull off so many different things. I mean, you have the threat of Jalen Hurts in the running game, where because he's a threat in the running game, then the running backs can be a little more open and they can get more space and pick up more yards. And because of that, when you have a situation where you have to respect the running game, which means that now a tight end can be open to flip to and pick up yards that way. And because of all of that stuff and all the underneath stuff, well, then you have the threat of A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith on the outside who can win that way. And it's a perfect offense. It's a perfect offense. And even when you stop everything and get them stopped short and everything looks good, well, then Jalen Hurts can scramble and pick up yards that way. So that's what makes this offense so deadly. And that's what allowed them to win a big football game, which, going into this game, it's weird where it feels like Philadelphia has been, maybe this is just me, it feels like they've had a much more impressive season to start than Dallas has. But, Dallas still only had 2 losses coming into this game, and Philadelphia had 1. I mean, it was they were a game and a half back. The Cowboys were. If they won, they would have just been a half game back. So to be able to get this victory for Philadelphia and kind of give yourself a little bit, just some leeway, I think about last season, right? And how they were so great for so long. And then, for a few weeks, Jalen Hurts got injured, but it didn't matter because they were so far out in front. It's very important to do that because who knows how things are going to go. You now have a 2.5 game lead in terms of the division and a 1.5 lead in terms of just the 1 seed, currently Detroit being the 2 seed. So that's where you're at that way. So really good, really interesting stuff here for Philadelphia. Really good victory for them. And I'm sure if you're an Eagles fan, it's just fun to beat the Cowboys, right? That's just something you always enjoy in general. So yeah, those are my thoughts on all of that. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.